here into the next fight where Raul Rosas Jr. is returning to the octagon to take on Terrence Mitchell here. Terrence Mitchell is the fighter on the other side with more experience, but he does not fit my criteria because he is the much older fighter here, 33 years of age. He lost his last fight via ground and pound finish in the very first round, I believe, against Cameron Simon. Let me double check that. Yeah, that was a first round finish against Cameron Simon. He got knocked out with one big punch from Kai Kara France way back on The Ultimate Fighter season 24. So I think of this guy as having a very questionable chin. I don't think of Terrence Mitchell as a UFC level fighter. He is from the Alaska FC regional scene, which we always like to talk about. It's not to say that Alaska FC will never have good fighters. They do from time to time. It's just to say that by and large, it's an easier scene to win on. So if you have a bunch of wins and you come here and you don't have the skills necessarily to back it up, that's what we got to always think about. Shout out to Madness in the chat, says JDM doesn't move his head much. I expect his chin to be tested, but he should pull through. I agree with that. Kevin Holland, big straight punches, powerful shots. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him land on the chin a little bit, but I do think both guys quite durable in their chins, historically speaking, especially. Holland is like welterweight Bobby Green. Yeah, he'll talk to you. He'll put on a fun show. Everybody loves to watch him fight, but he's also a guy that will let you down sometimes, even in fights where it looks like he's got a clear advantage. So it does look like Mitchell's going to have the size advantage here, back to the Rosas and Mitchell matchup. However, Raul Rosas Jr., last time out, guys, they made a mistake. They made a huge mistake. They gave him Christian Rodriguez, who's a really good fighter, who's a really experienced guy, who has a lot of, good experience under his belt, who had a 1-1 record in the UFC, but he had lost to JSP, who's a real fighter, who's a big guy up at 145. And, when he went back down to 135, you could tell that this kid was going to be a problem. He actually missed weight for that fight as well. If you guys remember, C-Rod came in there 137 and a hook, but he got the win. This, for me, seems like a setup. It just seems so clear that the UFC wants Raul Rosas Jr., just like when they did with Jay Perrin. They want him to go out there and put this guy away. They want him to clown him. They want it to be easy. They want it to be fun. They want the Mexican crowd to go insane. That's my personal opinion here. So I won't belabor this point too much, guys. I'll just be fairly brief on this fight and say Raul Rosas Jr., he's got real skills on the mat. He's a good grappler, trains in Vegas with a lot of really good guys, putting the work in, and he's young. So he's going to make mistakes. He's going to fumble the bag for you every so often if you lay him as a big minus 250 favorite on a UFC pay-per-view. But if you give him winnable fights against guys that are overmatched physically, technically, and otherwise, I feel like he's going to put on a show. He's going to do exactly what he's supposed to do, and he's going to continue to get more experience. He's a very young guy, and I think that he is still putting it all together, right? He's not out there, with a perfect, well thought out game plan every fight, but he probably doesn't need one here to win this one. So I think that this is a good spot for him. I think he's going to get the win. I think he's going to get the ITD, and I think it's probably going to come in the first round here. So give me Raul Rosas Jr. with a shocking quickness. Next up,